begin indeed. Hello, people. This is Jerry speaking. Welcome to TheCrazyBunch's Web Show, episode number 61. We are back for the dead for doing TheCrazyBunch's Web Show episodes after my comeback from Orlando, Florida, and things. And today we got not one, not two, but let's say about 10 dev topics today, along with 4 more other topics to deal with. So let's do it now. Shall we? So we got. And let me just read it right now anyway. Neil I. Adams, okay? He was an American comic book artist. He was a co-founder of the graphic design studio, Community Associates, okay? And was a career rights associate who helped securities of passion organization pursue many careers, Jerry Siegel and Joe Sorcher, okay? During this career, Adams co-created the characters was Joel, I pronounce it, Man's Bat, and John Stewart for DC Comics, okay? Adams was inducted in the Eisner Awards Will Eisner Comics Book Hall of Fame in 1998, and Harvey Awards Jack Kirby Hall of Fame in 1999, and the Inkwell Arts Awards Joe Silver Hall of Fame in 2019. He was born on June 15th, 1941 in Governor's Island, New York City. Raised in a military family, he grew up in a series of army bases ranging from Brooklyn to Germany. Wow, okay. He was Jewish. Adams attended the School of Industrial Arts High School, okay, in Manhattan. Graduated in 1959, and his career began when he was after graduating in 1959. He unsuccessfully attempted to find freelance work in DC Comics, okay? And turned to RG Comics, okay? Where he wanted to work on the publisher of the fledgling superhero line, okay? And by Joe Simon, okay? And the suggestion of staffers, Adams drew 3 of the 4 pages of Superhero to Fly, okay? But did not receive agreement with Simon, okay? Some managing staffers, nonetheless, asked Adams to draw samples in the RG Teen Humor comic themselves. While he did so, Adams said in the 2000 interview that hold on, something wrong with my head. Anyway, it was peeling, but I can't deal with it while I'm talking my topics. Anyway, he unknowingly broke into the comics. Wow, okay. Started doing samples for Archie, and I left my flight samples there. A couple weeks later, when I came to my show my Archie samples, noticed that the pages were still there, but the bottom panel was cut off in one of the pages. I said, "What happened?" They said one of the artists that did the transition for Tommy Troy turned it to the Fly, and it was not very good. He did his real nice plays, but we'll use it. If it's okay. I said, "That's great. That's terrific." The panel ran in the original Fly number 4, July 1960, and afterwards, Adam began writing, penciling, inking, and lettering. Okay. Humorous full-page and half-page gag fillers for Archie's Joke Book magazine. Okay. In the 1976 interview, he recalled earning about $16 per half page and $32 per full page. Wow. That may not seem to like a great deal, okay, of money, but at the time, it meant to a great deal for myself as my mother. So wow, okay, as we were not in a wealthy state. It was my Nana from heaven, so to speak, a organization that led him to artist Howard Nostred, who began with the Bat Nostred syndication newspaper comic strip. He usually worked with as Nostred assistant for 3 months. Primary drawing backgrounds is what Adams would call as $9 a week and a great experience. Wow, okay. Having not left RG Comics, under the best in circumstances, okay? Adams has turned the commercial art from the advertising industry, okay? After Rocky started freelancing, He began writing regular work for the Joss Stone and Crushing agency, which specialized in comic styled advertising, helped by artist Elmer Wexter, okay, who criticized the young Adams Stambles, okay. Um, Adams bought this portfolio to the agency, which they did believe I've done that Persia that samples who such that look make I don't know, I keep bumming myself. Anyway, so much like Elmer Wexter's work. But they gave me a chance to, and I stayed there for almost about a year. Wow, okay. Now, I'll be right back. I have to see what time my nephews get here. I'll be right back. I'm back, folks. Sorry for the delay. I just came back from a get some water and things, but let's continue on the laptop and this death topic. Anyway, excuse me, burped it anyway. Big Casey, okay. In 1962, excuse my birthday anyway. Anyway, what was I? Yes, in 1962, Adams began his comics career in earnest at the newspaper Enterprise Associates Syndicate, okay? Makes more sense now in anyway. Anyway, for the recommendation, writer Jerry Kaplan, aka Jerry Cap, brother of Lil Antner, career out Cap, invited Adams to draw samples for Cap's proposed Ben Casey comic strip, based on a popular television medical drama series. Wow, okay. On the strength of the samples, and his, excuse me, folks. Anyway, sorry, I don't know what's going on. I mumble myself. Anyway, Chip Martin, college report, AT&T, advertising college strip pages in Boys Life magazine. In December's, similar Goodyear tire ads. He landed the assignment. Okay, the first daily strip was Carrie Adams' signature appeared on November 26, 1962. Okay, Color Sunday strip was that on September 20th, 1964. Now this, see here, was a comic strip you saw in Adams' signature, okay? Let me close this up right now, okay? Let's continue on read. Adams contributed to do John Johnson Crosby assignments during the Ben Crosby Casey's 3.5-year run, okay? Comics historian Maurice Horn said the strip did not shrink from them tackling controversial problems, such as heroin addiction, I can't pronounce this word, pregnancy, and attempted suicide. They were usually treated in soap opera fashion. Wow. But there are also a touch of toughness to the proceedings with, redoing by Adams' torso drip style that exhorted realism, attention accorded well with the overall tone in the strip. In addition to Cap, Jerry Broadfield also wrote this for the strip, with Adams stepping in occasionally. The ABC series ran for 5 seasons and on March 21st, 1966. The comic strip appeared on Sunday, July 31st, 1966. Okay? Despite the end of the series, Adams had said the strip was claimed as different points that he had appeared on 365 newspapers. 365 newspapers, that is, and 165 newspapers. And for the no other reason, it has been an unhappy situation. Wow. We ended the strip a mutual agreement. I was happy working on the strip, nor I was happy giving up on the further money for the TV series producer, Big Crosby Productions. Wow. The strip I have been making $1,200. Wow, that's a lot of money a week for this, making me $300 to $350 a week. Wow. And on top of that, I was not able to express myself honestly when I wanted to, but we left under the very fine conditions. I was even offered a deal in which I was able to play so much a month. I would agree not to do any syndicated strips with anyone else. Okay, in order to make I say myself do anything that I can do for me to do. Wow. Okay. His goal at this point was to be commercial illustrator. Wow. While drawing Big Cat Casey, he had been continuing to do storyboards with other work with ad agencies. Okay. And said in 1976 let me see here, after leaving the strip and that shop around the portfolio for agencies and magazines. Wow, but my material was too realistic. It was not actually right for most. I left my portfolio in the advertising agency. Excuse me. Promising they were going to hold onto it. Wow. In the meantime, I'm going to make some money, and I thought, why do I do some comics? In the 2000 interview, he remembered this event entry difference saying, of my portfolio for various advertising people. Wow. I left it as one place overnight when I came back, excuse me, to get it the next morning, it was gone. So 6 months worth in the work has gone the drain. Wow. He worked as a ghost artist for a few weeks in 1986 in the comic strip Peer Stratch from 1964, 1966. Yeah, I misspoke. Anyway, in 1965 and 1967. The hardball detective serial created by writer Elliot Chapman. Excuse me, I misspoke. Anyway, brother Al Cap and Cherry Chap, and artist Ruth Fine. Okay. Okay, that makes more sense. Anyway. Comic historians also credit Adams, who have ghosted in 2 weeks of dailies for Stan Drake's The Hearts of Juliet Jones, okay? But that's all current dates, okay? Some sources are given from 1966, another in 1968, and Adams himself in 1963, as well. Adams drew 18 sample dailies, 3 weeks continually of a proposed dramatic serial, Tangent, okay? About construction engineer Barmany Peak, how to pronounce his last name, sorry. His college student brother Jeff and their teenage sibling Chad in 1955. It was not syndicated. Wow. Adams later said that Elliot Chapman offered Adams the job of drawing a concert based on author Robin Moore's The Green Berets. Wow. But that Adams was opposite the Vietnam War back in the 1960s to the 1970s or 80s. I'm not sure what year this came out. But anyway, 1970s. But anyway, never mind. Okay. With this series was set. Suggested all-time DC Comics War comics artist Joe Kubert, okay, who landed that assignment. Now for the Silver Age Splash. Now it was sad to me to say that this happened years ago, okay? Turned up comic books and Adams found work in Warren's publishing black and white horror comics book magazines under editor Archie Goldwyn. Adams debuted there the penciler and inker of writer Goldwyn's 8-page confidential story, Curse the Vampire and Creepy number 14 in April of 1957. He and Goldwyn quickly collaborated 2 more stories in early number 9 in May 1957 and Creepy number 15 in June 1957. And Adams was well proposed to DC Comics. When DC War Comics throughout Joe Kubert now concentrating on the comic strip war thing called Green Berets. Adams, despite his opposition to the current U.S. military involvement in Vietnam, saw an opening. I really didn't like most of the comics of DC. Wow. Saddens me, I know. But, so I thought now that Joe's working They got Russ Huff, okay, and they are plugging over people where Joe used to be. Maybe I could kind of shift into a Joe Corbett kind of thing, do some more comics, and kind of bash them out quickly. And so I went up to DC Wars comics editor Bob Kashner, and I showed him my stuff. And I did have that feeling that they were missing Joe. Okay, that makes more sense. Anyway, guy who could draw and do that rough action stuff. And he gave me some work. Adams made his DC debut as a pencil or inker in the 8.5 page story It's My Turn to Die. Jesus. Written by Howard Less. Anyway. Nancy series on Army at War number 182 on July 1967. He did a smattering of amateur horror war stories, respectively, for the two publishers, and then being turned down by DC Comics Batman editor Julius Schwartz. Approaching fellow DC editor Murray Barnoff, I pronounced his last name, sorry, in hopes of drawing the Barnoff's Batman team-up title, The Brave and the Bold, okay? He instead assigned him to Adventures Jerry Lewis in number 101 on July to August in 1957. And it's full of a length story, Jerry and the Astronaut, written by Arnold Drake. It's become the first of the still stories and covers Adams would draw that series, and Adventure Bob Hope, two licensed titles featuring visual versions of TV and film and nightclub comedians. Wow. During this period of near the end of the industry's revival, historians call the Silver Age of comic books. Wow. Adams was soon assigned with the first superhero covers, illustrating that Superman flagship Action Comics number 356 in November 1967. In the same month, Superman's girlfriend, Lois Lane, number 39, on November 1967. Wow. Featuring Superman and a mysterious new costume character, Titan Man. Wow. Also that month, Adams drew the first superhero story, teaming the writer Garner Fox and the white-haired backup feature, the alternate man, Detective Comics number 369. Jesus. Anyway, in November 1967. Anyway, the flagship Batman into title. Shortly afterwards, he drew Batman himself, along with the supernatural superhero the Spectre, on the cover of The Brave and the Bold number 75 in January 1968. Okay. The first published instance of Adams' work on what would become two of the Signature Comics characters. The first instance of Adams and drawing Batman in the story was the Superman Batman Revenge Squads in the World's Finest Comics number 175 in May 1988. Okay? Anyway, another signature character is what will prove Adams' breakout series. Supernatural hero Deadman, who has debuted at DC Comics Strange Adventures number 205 on November 1967. Okay, Adams is the co-creator and artist Carmen Infano. Okay, with the following issues: 17-page story, An Eye for an Eye, written by Arnold Drake and with George Russell's inking Adams pencils, okay? Adam went on to draw both of the covers and stories with issues 207, and 216 on December 1967 to February 1969, respectively, taking over the scripting for 202 for June of 1968. The series became the fan, also be doing large amounts of covers, okay? Moving on. fancization. Excuse me, okay, anyway. I was in the wrong section. Okay, moving on. Next. Win many awards, being almost immediately dubbed in the Hollywood Award Hall of Fame, with Adams himself receiving a special award for the productive and dynamic veterans that have been brought to the field of comic art. Okay, now I skipped one scene, but anyway, Adams continuously drew covers and stories for Spectre 2 and 5 in February to August 1968. Also writing the latter's 2 issues and became DC's primary cover artist well in the 1970s. Adams dropped, we call it Fanio, was supported the Doctor, art director, excuse me. So I was going to spark plug, okay? Also thought it was a good idea to promise a number of things, okay? Which was never forwarded, okay? But I thought it would be eventually anyway, so I knuckle down the things that, like Dead Man, the Spectre, and whatever odd things that will come on my way. Excuse me, but anyway. I was also doing a large amount of covers. He was called amount to rewrite and redraw the Teen Titans story, which has been written by then newcomers Len Wen and Marv Wolfman. The story titled Titans Pit the Battle and Jorio, I haven't his last name. Anyway, when I introduced DC first African American superhero, but was rejected by publisher Jamon Kamine Fanio. The revised story appeared in Teen Titans number 20 in April of 1969. Adams' art style honored and advertising full realistic school of dramatic serial comic strips, marketed single change for most comics arts, okay, to that time. Comic writer and columnist Steve Grant wrote in 2009 that Joe Sprano of Marvel and Neil Adams were the most prominent new artists in the late 60s to enter the field that has been reality hostile to new artists, okay? Brad briefs of modernism, okay? Referring at veteran to art and pop art, okay? As much as comics. Despite vastly different styles, both favored designs that drew on depth of focus on imagery that put the reader in the center of the action while simply disorienting them and increase the lesson, okay? In place several special budgets have been announced on lightning and body language, okay? Wow. And emotion cues, okay? Not that these things were not known in the comics by any stretch, okay? Now, but publishers, but traditionally the reference them as well as both will hugely influently, okay, on how the new generation of artists thought about what comics should look like, okay? Though Adams would arguably more fluidly, his approach was more virtual and, more importantly, he was running the studio in Manhattan, commercially associates, where many young artists started their professional careers. Wow, okay. First Marvel Comics work. While continuing their freelance in DC, Adams in 1969 began freelancing for Marvel Comics, where created by the old Stan Lee. Exactio! Anyway, where he penciled several issues in the Marvel superhero team titled X-Men, and one story for horror and naturally titled The Marvel Bullpen Bulletins, column of Fantastic Four, and number 87, June 1969. Excuse me, smoke. Anyway, describe Adams as having 1 foot plant, okay? And the Marvel doorway, we're guessing your solid pet comments, okay? When you're seeing the way your he's illustrated on latest X-Men bombshell. Wow. Will transform him to Marvel Madman from head to toe. With such very realizing around the 2 lead companies from Rare at the time. It was Rare at the time, excuse me. Most DC's careers did so work Promissory, I announced it. I recall in 1976 that the first time I got away from DC was when I went to Marvel to do the X-Men. It didn't stop me from working at DC. They were so annoyed at me, but there was this categorized plan. Well, if people saw that I was doing such a thing, then other people might do it. Beyond that, it seemed like from working for Marvel might be an interesting thing to do. It was, a matter of fact. I enjoyed working with the X-Men. The company was more friendly. Wow. A lot more than real. I found myself delighting in the comedy call of Herb Tripp, John Rebenshaw, and of course, Mar Surian. I found them to be people who are not as oppressed as the people of National, i.e. DC Comics, were. He teamed up with writer Roy Thomas and X-Men on the verge of cancellation, starting issue number 56 in May 1969. Adams penciled, colored, and adoring that Thomas did most of the plotting. Wow, okay. Including the entire plot from the issue number 65, okay. And in issue, his final work in the series, Adams inspired Dennis O'Neil in one of the creative team's earliest collaborations, revived the Professor X character, okay? While working the series, Adams was paired for the first time with inker, Tom Palmer, okay? Who he collaborated on several acclaimed Marvel comics. The duo worked here nailed the 1969 Alley Awards for Best Pencil Artist and Best Inking Artist, respectively. Thomas won that year for Best Writer. Wow. But the team failed to save the title. Wow. Which ended an initial run for number 66 in March 1970. The collaboration here on the Kree War arc on the Avengers number 93-97 in November 1971 to May 72. Produced what comics historians regard as some of Marvel's creative highlights of the era. Adams also wrote and penciled the horror story One Hungers, okay, in Charles of Shells number 2, December 1969, and co-wrote it with Thomas and did not draw. Another in Chamber of Darkness in number 2, December 1969, respectively. Anyway, Thomas and Adams collaborated again, along with the scripter Jerry Conway and penciler Howard Clayton, to introduce the series The War of the Walls, and the central character Kilgraven in Amazing Adventures, volume number 2 and number 18 in May 1973. Now, we're moving on to Batman now. Anyway, continuing on to work in DC Comics during the sojourn, while also collaborating initial stories with Warren's Publishing Black and White Horror Comics magazine, including the Dawn Drop scripted Goddess to the Sea in Vampire number 1 in September 1969. Adams' first collaboration of Batman with writer Dennis O'Neil, which I mentioned during the DC, during the Marvels and other things. But anyway, in one of their, the duo under the direction of editor Joyce Schwartz, again, which I mentioned before, which devised the character with a series of noteworthy stories establishing Batman's dark, brooding nature, took the Brooks away from the crampy look in the fields 1966 to 1968 ABC TV series. Wow. Okay. The first two stories were The Secret of Wallowing Graves and Detective Comics number 395 in January 1970, and Pen and Pencil of Pearl in issue number 397. Excuse me, I spoke anyway. I kind of poked my eye there. Anyway, in March 1970, the short Batman's backup story written by Mike Farish comes in between in Batman 219 in February 1970. Adams introduced new characters to Batman's Mindful Begins. with Man-Bat, co-created with writer Frank Robbins. It comics number 400 in June 1970. O'Neill and Adams' creation of Ra's al Ghul was introduced in the story Daughters and the Demon in Batman number 232 in June 1971. As a character, later it began become one of Batman's most common adventures. The same creative team will revive Two-Face in Batman number 234 in August 1971. Okay? Related to Joker more often, Joker's Five-Way Revenge in Batman number 251 in September 1973. A landmark story bringing the characters back in its roots, and as a homophobic maniac who murders people and the whim delights in his mayhem. Wow, okay. Green Lantern, Green Arrow, and one of it comics, okay? Batman's enduring makeover was, I can't pronounce this word, sorry, with Adams and O'Neill's celebrated, and for the first time in commercial registry for the long standard DC comic characters, Green Lantern and Green Arrow, treasuring Green Lantern number 2, volume 2 as Green Lantern, Green Arrow, with issue number 36 in April 1970. O'Neill and Adams team these two very different superheroes in a long story in arc in which the characters will look in the social commentary journey across America. Okay, a few months earlier, Adams updated Green Arrow's visual appearance and by designing a new costume and giving him a detective goatee beard of the character. Anyway. Brave and the Ball number 85 in August and September of 1969. A major reporter in the industry, the public at the time, called Revant Comics. Wow. The landmark run began a 23-page story with no evil shall escape my sight, and it continued to improve my him save the world. Wow, okay. In the series finale number 89 in May 1972, it was during the point period that one of the best known O'Neill Adams stories appeared. Wow, in Green Lantern 85 to 86. When it revealed Green Arrows with Sport Speed, with heroin, anyway. Well, air historian Ron Gar, okay? These angry issues deal with racism, overpowering, and drug addiction. The drug abuse problem was dramatized in the unusual and unprecedented way by showing Green Arrow's for clean cut boy, convention speed, turned into a heroin addict. Only encouraged DC to dedicate college readers to the period of won awards with both artist and writer. Wow. Sales, however, weren't especially influenced by the phrase. By 1973, collections have ceased. Wow. I remember dropping in on editor Julius Schwartz this time, and asking him how the residents was doing. Residents dead. Wow. He informed me not too cheerfully. After Green Lantern was cancelled, the adventures of both superheroes continue on the pages in The Flash, number 217 to 219, and 260 to 226, and 1972 and 1974 respectively. Anyway, I'm working for DC. After Green Lantern and Green Arrow ended, Adams' contributions to DC, apart from this work on Batman, was slightly limited to the draw Clark Kent backup story in Superman 254 in 1972, and sharing credits with Jim Aparo, penciling the Teen Titans in Brave and the Ball number 102 in 1972. Adams also draw a few stories and weird Western tales, House of Mystery. He covers Action Comics and Justin Lee's America as well. Adams worked on the person company superhero crossover Superman versus the Amazing Spider-Man, okay? Several of the Superman figures were redrawn by him. The last complete story that Adams drew at DC Comics before opening his own company, Continuity Associates, were the oversized Superman versus Alley, 1978, which Adams has called personal favorite. After this, Adams' production of DC Marvel was mainly limited to newer covers, to reprint editions of some of his work, such as Green Lantern, Green Arrow, the Avengers, the Civil War, X-Men, Missionaries, Deadman Collection, and the Saga of Ra's al Ghul, were visually published as reprint miniseries or trade paperback collections. In the 1988, he designed a new costume for DC's Robin character, Dick Grayson. Okay, DC loved the redesign and adopted the comics years later when they introduced new Robin, Tim Drake, and the mini poster introduced included in the first issue of the Robin limited series. Wow. Now the 21st century. Okay, in 2005. Okay, Adams returned to Marvel. His last combination to the publisher has been a 1981 drawing of story from the Blazer Bizarre Adventures, magazine, to draw an 8-page story, The Giant-Sized X-Men #3. The following year, Adams, among the artists, provided Young Avengers Special #1. In 2010, Adams returned to DC Comics as writer artist for the miniseries Batman Odyssey. Originally conceived a 12-issue story, the series ran for 6 issues. Wow. Before launching it with volume #2, #1, in October 2011. A total of 7 issues were published in the second series until its end June 2012. Part of those assignments from DC, Adams penciled The New Adventures #1, 2, #16.1, November 2011 for Marvel Comics. In May 2012, Marvel announced that Adams will work on the X-Men again with the first X-Men, a 5-issue miniseries drawn and plotted by him and written by Curtis Gage. Adams produced short series of Batman Black and White for Volume 2, #1 in November 2013, and Detective Comics Volume 2, #27, March 2014. February 2015, Adams revisited some of his most notable covers done by DC Comics in the 60s to 70s. Wow, okay. Replacing the original characters from some of the new 52 ones. Later that year, same year, Adams wrote and drew the 6-part Superman coming to Superman miniseries. In 2017, Adams wrote and drew the Deadman Limited series. He drew a new 5-page story titled The Game, which was written by Paul Levesque. Okay, for the Action Comics 8 years of Superman hardcover collection. Wow. Okay. In August 2020, Adams writer Mark Ward released Fantastic Four and I can't pronounce this word. Sorry, a 4-issue miniseries featuring the Fantastic Four in the battle with the new commenced threat. Okay. This will be his final work as an expert artist. And his final work as a writer, in addition to providing the artwork, will be Batman vs. Ra's al Ghul. Okay? A mini-series that was originally published in November 2019, for the final 2 issues were delayed to March 2021 due to the COVID-19 pandemic. Okay? Anyway, film, TV, and theater. Okay? Adams' pencil drawings in his later Batman stories were visually inked by Dick Grayson, whom Adams formed Continuity Associates, a company that supplied storyboards and motion pictures. In the early 1970s, Adams was an art director, costume designer, and the poster Playboy illustrator for science fiction stage play by director Stuart Gordon. Playwright Randy Marshall under the Flash on Bury St. Edmond, have announced his last name. Sorry. It's in 1908. He directed and starred in Nans, okay? Later released by Trona, okay? Under the title Death of the Pee-wee Squad. The film co-starred Adam's children's Jason and Cesar, as well as fellow Collins professionals. Denny's and Kerry Quallwood, Ralph Wesley, Larry Hama, and Jerry Wall, okay? In late 2015, Adams will appear on the PBS TV documentary Superheroes and Never Ending Battle, okay? Now for the career rights, okay? Okay. During the 1970s, okay? Adams was virtually active in the industry and attempted to organize the career community. His efforts, along with the professions set by Atlas Seaboard Comics, career on. I'm almost done. I'm going to do one. I'm almost done with this depth topic. And that'll be commercial break. Anyway. Atlas Seaboard Comics career, friendly politics, and policy, and other factors helped lead the modern industry, okay? Sarah practice and recurring of artwork to artists, okay? Who can earn additional income for art sales, okay? Collectors, okay? He won his battle in 1987 when Marvel returned to original artwork, okay? To him, an industry legend Jack Kirby and among others. Adams notably and virtually helped lead the lobbying efforts that result in the Superman careers Jerry Circle and Joe Slusher, okay? Receiving decades overdue credit in some especially violation of DC, okay? Inker Bob McMahon called the 2000 unique place Adams held in the industry when McMahon entered the comics industry, which was 1973. Pat Barwick told me that early on to meet Neil Adams when he had met at DC Comics, okay? At that time, Neil has a position of respect in the industry that no one in the comics said to achieve. I'm going to stop right there and do a commercial break. When we come back, we will finish off this death topic along with the other 9 death topics, and then we'll do 4 more topics. And then fun fact in the week. We'll be right back after these commercial breaks. Stay tuned. Welcome back to the Crazy Bunch's web show, episode number 61. Now, I came back from the zoo, everyone, and I just wanted to let you know that I just came back to show you wasn't in fact that I want to thank my nephews Jack and Drew and my brother Morgan for giving me the opportunity to be the wonderful surprise that they brought me into. Now, let's continue on. Before I continue on left off, I got one more death topic after the 10, because there's one more I need to discuss, which is recently, Normie Judd, who recently passed away, and we're going to read 4 more topics to read, and then we'll wrap things up. So here we go. Let's continue on with one more of these death topics where we left off, and then we'll do the 10 more. See what we got, shall we? See what we got. Anyway, where was I? Oh yes, he was the single most respected artist in the business, okay? Neil looked at one of my samples, and he was asked me to what kind of work I was looking for. I said, anything that pays, okay? By the time I was down with my last $10, wow, okay? He just picked up the phone and called production manager at Marvel and said, excuse me, I spoke anyway, at Marvel and said, I got a guy who has some provincial ads, well, some political as an artist, but I can think it has some political as some letter, something like that. I was immediately hired at Marvel in the production department at Neil's, haven't announced his last name, something like that. Reputation. Wow. And they still didn't even went to my portfolio. Wow. Okay. As I was good enough for Neil. I was good for enough for them. Wow. Okay. In 1978, Adams helped for comics career goal. Okay. With over 3 dozen comic books writers for artists joy. Okay. Also during the 70s, Adams illustrated paperback novels in the Tarzan series, such as for Valentine Books. Wow, okay. When the independent comic publishing boom of the early 80s began, he began working on for Pacific Comics, when he produced for poorly received Skate Man. Wow, okay. And other publishers, and founded his own community comics on his offshoot of Community Associates. Wow, okay. His comic book company's characters includes Megalegolith, how to pronounce it, Bucky O'Hare, Skeleton Warriors, Copper Rad, okay, Cyber Rad, how to pronounce it. Anyway, Miss Mystic, how to pronounce it. He and fellow artist Michael Nelser, okay, Netzer, how to pronounce it. Anyway, entered in a dispute over infinity property rights to Miss Messick, okay? A character they will work on jointly in 1977, which Adams published over under the Pacific Comics and Community Comics imprint. Wow. Leading the lawsuit against Adams in the United States District Court in 1993. Wow. The case was dismissed in 97. Signed a statute of limitations. Wow. Now, Dinah, Bomber and Morgan studied the Holocaust, which I'm not going to go over there, because there's going to be a lot of time I'm not going to be going over, because it's getting late that night, because I'm going to go ahead and move on to awards and honors, and not really explain Earth how to life, but now afterwards we're going to personal life, and that way will be it. Anyway, awards and honors, okay? On Adams vs. Deadman cover, won the 1967 Alley Award for Best Cover. Batman Deadman team up and the Brave and the Bold 1979 from September 1968 by Adams and writer Bob Haney, titled another comic from 1968 Alley Award for Best Bold-named Story. And in 1969, Adams won the Alley Award for Best Pencil Artist, okay? The feature Deadman was selected in the Alley Award Hall of Fame, okay? And Adams received a special award for the new preserved and dynamic vibrance he brought for the field of comic art, okay? He's also won Shazam Awards in the 1970 for Best Industrial Story. No evil shall escape my sight. In Green Lantern, Volume 2, number 76. With writer Dennis O'Neil, okay? With Best Pencil Artist, Dramatic Division, and 1971 for Best Initial Story, Starboards Don't Fly, Green Lantern number 2, Volume 2, number 85 with O'Neil himself, okay? He also won the 1971 Godwin Award for Favorite Poet Artist, as well as the 1971 Godwin Award for favorite comic book story for No Evil Shall Escape My Sight, written by Daniel O'Neil. The Great Lantern, Green Owl, number 76. Wow, okay. He won the Empire Award in 1976 and was voted for favorite comic book artist in 1977 and 1978 Eagle Award. Wow. In 1985, DC Comics named Adams won the honorees in the comics' 50th anniversary publication, 50 Who Made DC Great. Wow. Adams was inducted the Editor Awards Will Eisner Comic Books Hall of Fame in 1998 and the Harvey Awards Jack Kirby Hall of Fame in 1999. In 2019, and was inducted to the Inkwell Awards Joe Student Hall of Fame for his lifetime achievement for outstanding accomplishments. Okay? Now for his personal life. Adams' wife Marilyn lived in New York and had 3 sons, Jason, Joel, Josh Adams. Jason Adams worked in the toy and fantasy sculpture factory. Okay? While Joel and Josh Adams illustrate comics and do design and work on TV shows. Wow, okay. Josh Adams illustrated print on Batman and Batman Odyssey #1 September 2010. Adams was once married to the comics artist Corey Adams. Wow. And the daughter Zia Adams has worked with the colorist. He died in New York on two days ago. He was not 8 years old. His wife Marilyn told Hollywood Reporter that Adams has died with commotions of stubbornness. Wow. Now, for my next death topic, has to do with Bob Elkins, okay? He was an American character actor who appeared in movies, plays, and television production. His sometimes credited as Robert Elkins, okay? He was born in 1932 of August 15th in Mount Hope, West Virginia, okay? Son of struggling coast miner, okay? At age 4, he moved with his father, mother, and 2 sisters in McCully, Indiana, where his father took a job in a Walmart company, okay? At the age of that, about that time, the oldest Elkins, anyway, he eventually became withdrawn and stopped talking to his son, Jesus. Bob Elkins believed that the lack of a commendation of his father influenced the acting abilities, although he would not release it for many years. Jesus. When Elkins was 12, he and his family moved to Covington, to Kentucky, over across the Ohio River to Cincinnati. Wow. Shortly thereafter, his father disappeared and was never heard from him again. Wow. Despite being confused, younger Elkins rebuilt by skipping school and dabbling in petty crime. Wow. Including working as a collector at the bookie. Wow. He was later arrested after breaking into the office. Although no charges were filed, he received a stern lecture in the arresting police officer and never committed another crime. Wow. While growing up, Elkins had difficulty reading and commissionary was a poor student. Wow. And after joining the U.S. Navy at the age of 18, he was diagnosed with dyslexia. And while in the Navy, his reading skills was improved dramatically. As a result, the tutorial he received in the fellow sailor, and after 4 years serving as an officer, Elkins received an honorary discharge and returned home to the Cincinnati area. After leaving the Navy, Elkins spotted a newspaper ad for acting school in Cincinnati and enrolled because, and he said, I always like movies. I have to agree with that, Bob. Anyway, 1 year later, he began acting professionally in plays and television commercials. In 1980, he landed his first role in the major motion picture play Bobby Day, the DJ, the Academy Award-winning coal miner's daughter, starring Sissy Suspect and Tommy Lee Jones. Wow. Elkins appeared in other movies and television productions through the years, including Tangent Angel with Carr and Sandra Secret Cat, something like that, I don't know. And President Mayor's story on ABC television. In 2003, he received an award for Best Actor in the Dublin Film Musical Festival in Ireland. It was a trailer of the homeless man with an independent film entitled Home Free. He died 3 days ago. He was 89 years old. There's a lot of movies he's been in. Anyway, my next death topic has to do with Ann Davis, okay? Born Ann Kirsten Davis, she was a British English actress. She was the wife of actor Richard Bears, okay, until his death in February 2015. And the mother of actress Leslie Bears and Kay Bears, okay? And she was also acting as a birth in the films Pierce Spreads '92 and a Blake memoir in '95, year I was born. Okay. One of the early television appearances is the character Jenny in the BBC series Doctor Who, and the story listed the Daleks' invasion of Earth. And in 2003, she appeared in an episode of the series Doctors and the character Annette Lolo, okay? She appeared alongside her husband in the radio adaptation of the TV series Brothers-in-Law. She died last Tuesday. She was 87 years old. Now for my next death topic has to do with James Bond, okay? He was born, he was a American artist, but known for his realistic paintings and essaying in Western subjects. Living in Wyoming, led to this comment, here as an artist can trace the beginnings of Western history. See the first buildings, oils, wagons, styles, and guns to be close in the remains of Indian culture. Can be standing around nature's wonders, okay? He was born in Weston Heights, New York in 1926, and he grew up copying Alex Raymond's flash-scoring comic strip. Wow. He has had his first professional sale when he was 15, in the drawing of Yankee Stadium in the New York Journal American. He graduated from New York High School of Music Arts and entered the Army Armed Forces, okay, working as a mechanic, okay, mail payer, and physical train instructor, okay. Anyway, when he discharged from the service back in New York City, he studied drawing and astronomy in the Art Study Students League, okay. Began in 1951. It was illustrated in New York Charles E. Cooper Studios for 15 years, okay? His first paperback cover was Nelson Nye's Wilson and Billy the Kid in 1950, okay? He had a 22-year career as a successful commercial artist, okay? Producing paperback book covers, movie posters, and illustrations such as publications as Odyssey, the Saturday Evening Post, and Reader's Digest, okay? And his clients include the New York Giants football team, the Baseball and Football Halls of Fame in the U.S. Air Force, okay? Began the Man of the Bronze in 1964. He did a powerful set of 62 covers in the Savage Bedtime Books paperbacks, okay? Often using the model actor Steve Holland, okay? Started TV splash score in 1954 to 1955. He also painted the box cover art for Olivia. Excuse me, okay, well, I just have folk. Anyway, Monster Model Kits, okay? Okay, including King Kong, Frankenstein, Dracula, and the Mummy, okay? In 1964, he married Lynn Kelper, okay? New York University graduate with art help history major. 2 years later, in June 1966, the couple headed west as guests of artist Bob Mayer and his Circle Elm Ranch near Cody, Wyoming. Wow. Mayer's had walked out of his career and successfully Manhattan illustrated with such magazines such as True and Saturday Evening Post, okay? To run his ranch and paint, okay? After returns business in 1967, the Bowers left New York and moved Anyway, in 1968 September, in the cabin of Mayor's Ranch, Baba began to paint history Western subjects during the daytime while doing his freelance illustration evenings. He recalled, "I never came out with an idea with a Western artist. Yeah, it just happened. That's what I wanted to start to be." Okay. In 1970, Bob Mayers was murdered. Wow. And his will, Helen, moving his ranch. Wow, I just felt worried. Anyway, The bombers moved the house near Donna Creek, Wapi, 20 miles outside Cody in 1971. And in May same year, Bomber connected with a New York dealer, okay? Prominent the addition of embedded illustration for his tilt construction and the creation of alloy paints in Wapi. James and Len Bomber built a home in the studio, moving into the son Ben, born in 1977. His work is collected Western Arc of James Bomber, Batman books in 1975, The Art of James Bomber in 1993, and Brian M. Kane, James Bomber Art Realism Folk in 2006. Excuse me. And introduction by Harry Ellison. He died on April 24th, 2022, just 4 days before his 96th birthday. Wow. Okay, I'm not going to read the rest, but I'm moving on to my next topic, which is going to be about the Justin Green, the cartoonist. Anyway, born Justin Constantine Green. Anyway, he was an American cartoonist who was known as the father of autobiographical comics. Wow. A key figure of the pioneer in the 1970s generation of underground comics artists, okay? He was best known in the 1972 comic book Biggie Brown Meets the Holy Virgin Mary. He was born in Chicago. He grew up in Chicago and was born in July 27, 1945. Anyway, the son of a Jewish father and Catholic mother. It was Grace Catholic. Wow. As a child, he was first attended a Catholic private school. Wow. And later transported to school where most students were Jews. Wow. He rejected the Catholic faith in 1958. As I believe he was calling Cosmic Neurals, okay? That decades later was diagnosed with OCD, okay? Also called with disorder for short. Anyway, Green was studying paid in the Rhode Island School of Design, okay? Where in 1967, he discovered that the work of Robert Crumb, okay, in terms of cartoony, okay, treasured what he's called Crumb's harsh drawing, suffered the crookedy drawn panels, okay. He experimented with this artwork to find what he called an inherent and omnic style of as a conduct with the commercial forms in his own psyche. He dropped out of the MFA program at Syracuse University, where in 1968 he left a call to arms. Wow, to move to San Francisco, where the naturalist underground comics scene was a blossoming amid the constant culture there. Wow. Green short comics piece appear in the various titles, and as well includes Art Spider-Man and Bill Griffin's Ecologies have been announced. Sorry, Arcade and Young Lost. But in 1972, he was overwhelmed by Audrey's desire to tell the story in his personal exodus. Wow. Biggie Brown and Meets the Holy Virgin Mary is a soul combo that sells Green's struggle with the form of LCD, known for as cerebral palsy. Wow. Within the framework of growing up with Club Rise in 1950 Chicago, intends to driving this buzz of expression of professional tournament have never been in the comic book form before in his life. Wow. And it has been profound effort in of a cartoonist. And the future direction of comics pledged as literature. Wow. Green's roommate at the time, Art Bengal Man, okay, was so inspired by Biggie Brown that he had thought that he would try his own memory type story. A strip that he called Moss, okay, with some years later, the secret of Moss, okay? Makes more sense. Anyway, Green was also the master of side payer, okay? was described during the 1980s in his monthly comic strip in the trade publications. Sign of Times later became a book entitled Justice Green's Side Game, published by Late Gaps in June '95, the month and year I was born in. Anyway, in the late '90s, Green focused on his cartoony attention on a series of virtual biographies of Pulse, anyway. And then hosts House Magazine for Tower Records, okay? It ran for 10 years, later collected his actual biography known as Mystical Legends, published by Lex Gaps in 2004. Green still made comics the way he did at the start by dipping a pen nib into his ink bottle. Wow. His personal life began when his younger brother, Keith Green, was also involved, or died in '96, anyway, was also involved in the underground comics movement, and was an underground distributor from 1968 to 1975, and publishing comics under the name Keith Green Editorial Retalities, as well as Imprint Saving Grace, in the period of 1971 to 77. He later became an art dealer. Keith Green died in '96, which I mentioned before. Anyway, he Justin Green lived in Cincinnati and was married to fellow cartoonist Carol Tyler. Green and Tyler met in San Francisco, okay? In the early '80s, they have a daughter together, Julia, who's also an artist. He also had a daughter, Caitlin, born in '76, with his first cousin, with the film director, William Franklin, Green's father, and Franklin's mother and siblings. Wow. He died on April 23rd, 2022, which is last week, in Cincinnati. His death was announced by Carol Tower on his Facebook page. He was 36 years old. I'm not sure it's 36. Yeah, he is 36. Okay, there you go. Okay. My next step topic has to do with Eric Chapel, okay? Born Eric George Chapel, okay? He was English television comedy writer and playwright, okay? And who co-wrote some of the UK biggest sitcom hits in the more than a quarter-century career. First ground sentiment noticed in the 1970s. He was born in Graham, Lincolnshire, okay? And educated at Graham Boys Central School in September 25th, 1933. Anyway, and he worked as either the East Midlands Education Board from 22 years began in 1951, okay? And only became a full-time writer in 1973. Wow, okay? It was written several novels, which was rejected by publishers, wow, before becoming a playwright. His career began where he wrote a play, Banana Box, okay, which was given a stage read at the Hampton Theatre Club in 1970. The production at the Phoenix Sphere in Lincolnshire in 1971 with Wilfred Bill Brambill, okay, in the role of Lanford, okay, as well as later produced The West End in 1973, okay, with Leonard Foster now in the role, okay. The play later became the basis of a sitcom Racing Damp, okay? Which aired on ITV from 1974 to 1978 and won the 1978 BAFTA for Best Situation Comedy, okay? Banana Box is a brief run the Hudson Gold Fear in New York in 1979. A film version of Rising Damp was released in 1980 and won several Evening Standard British Film Awards. Although he admitted the screenplay was based on the television scripts, but he caveated his early sitcoms with Squirrels in 74 to 77. An office comedy which ran for 3 series. Wow. He also wrote half of the scripts for the series. These were rarely made as Splitters Free in 1991. His other series include Only About Laugh, The Bonder, Duty Free, Singles, Haggard, how you pronounce it. Anyway, and home to Ruth, so pronounced it. Anyway, he married Memorial Elizabeth Taylor in 1959. The couple had 2 children. He died April 21st, 2022. He was 88 years old. Now for my next death topic. I still have about a few more left, after this, well, 4 of them after this, anyway, which is going to be about Clive Collins, okay? Born Clive Hugh Austin Collins, he was a British cartoonist and illustrator, okay? Who contributed drawings to many publications, includes The Oldie, Playboy, Punch, Reader's Digest, The Sun, who was also exalted with the racing tipster Lucky Jim, okay, and the Daily Mail. He was a secretary of the British Cartoonist Association, the vice president of the Cartoonist Club for Great Britain. In 2012, he was married with a member of the Order of the British Empire. Wow. He was awarded the Cartoonist of the Year award from Cartoonist Club of Great Britain in 1984, 85, and 87, respectively. Born February 6, 1942, in Weston Sherborne, Mary, England. Anyway, he was a brother of musician, best known, he's now retired now, he's been in a wheelchair now, Phil Collins. The uncle of actresses Lily Collins and Joey Collins, and musician Simon Collins. He died last week. He was 8 years old. Now, for my next death topic has to do with John Desail. Born Joseph Desail. He was an American provincial journalist from New Hampshire. Anyway, he was born and raised in Preston, New Jersey. He was received a bachelor's degree in English literature from Marshall University in 1975, and a master's degree in communications from William Patterson University in 1979. Anyway, that same year, he married Dahlia Daisha, okay, and had 2 children. Anyway, they began his career with the UN leader of the correspondent before becoming a staff reporter in the early 1980s, okay? Began in 1982, DeSazio wrote for the newspaper's political column, Genus Status. He is credited with the earliest news and praise Republic. Oh, excuse me. I didn't know what's going on. Anyway, Republican in name only, RINO for short, in 1992. He was closest in Republican bias, as in Columbia Journalism Review, okay, article in the interview he conducted with George W. Bush, professional advisor, called Rob, okay. He was also one of the monitors in 2004 congressional presidential candidates debate held on January 22nd, 2004 in Confidence in New Hampshire. He was also a panelist in debates produced by CNN and NBC. He was also resident in New Boston, New Hampshire. He and his wife had 2 children. He died from pancreatic cancer in Manchester, New Hampshire, on last week. He was 88 years old. Now, my next step topic has to do with Henry Stoke, Scott Stokes. Born that same place, same name. Anyway, he was a British journalist who was with the Tokyo Bureau chief from Financial Times 1964 to 1967, and Times 1967 to 1970s, and New York Times 1978 to 1983. He was educated in Winchester College and New College, Oxford, okay? After graduating, he moved to Japan, where he became a journalist in Tokyo Bureau of the Times, okay? And also around that time, he became close friends with famous Japanese author Yukio Mishima, okay? He was a debtor in the Nashijin massacre. Wow. He was the father of Henry, I can't pronounce his name. Stokes. Anyway, he suffered from advanced Parkinson's disease. He died April 19th, 2022. He was a lot of years. So I don't know. My next death topic has to do with Kane Taxia. One of the most huge deaths since 2022. Anyway, since 2018. Excuse me. Anyway, and she was, and not he. Anyway, she was a Japanese super centurion who, under a death in the age of 119 years and 107 days old, was an always living person following the death of Jojo Magayo of July 22nd, 2018. She was the oldest buried Japanese person and the second oldest buried person ever after Journey Climates. Anyway, she was born Kane Ola on January 2nd, 1903 in the village of Bravo, now part of Hakushi-ku. I can't pronounce this city's name. Sorry. On the southern island of Kosovo, I pronounced his name. Anyway, the third daughter and seventh child of her parents. Okay? I can't pronounce his name. Its last name is Obata. Anyway, Kane and her family said that she was actually born December 26, 1902. Wow, okay. Now, her parents delayed the process of filing the report for the week because they were not sure that they should still survive. Wow. She was born permanently. Wow, okay. Makes sense for Japan users. Anyway, her early childhood was during the last years of a Meiji period, which ended she was 9. Wow, in 1912. She married her cousin, Haidu Takio in 1922. With whom she had 2 sons and 2 daughters. Wow. The couple have also adopted their niece. The second daughter, Haidu's sister. Okay? Kate's eldest daughter died shortly after birth, and her second daughter died at the age of 1 in 1947. Well, adopted daughter died in 1945, and the age of 43 in the hospital illness. The couple worked at the store selling sugar and organ noodles. Her husband was later drafted into the military from 1947 to 1949 after one of their sons was captured towards the end of World War II. The military POW, okay, POW for short. Anyway, it was held captured in Serbia, okay, before it would be released and returned home in 1947. After World War II, the couple continued working in the store. Wow. With Kate, conversion and christening. Wow. Okay. Under the influence and pastors saved by the United States military. Retired from working in the age of store at the age of 63. Kane traveled to the United States in the 1970s to visit her relatives in California and Colorado. Her husband died in 1993 at the age of 90 after 31 years of marriage. Wow. She lived in a nursing home and I can't pronounce it, where she was born. Anyway, from September 9, 2018, and it was reportedly still in good health in her 118th birthday. Wow. She was supported to hold the Olympic torch in 2020 Summer Olympics, but she withdrew due to the concerns regarding the cases of COVID-19 cases in Japan. She occasionally played the board game Australia. Wow. So short walks in the nursing home hallways. Her hobbies include choreography and solving problems. She had 5 grandchildren, 8 great-grandchildren. She died in the hospital, and I can't pronounce his name. I'm sorry, I can't say the F word. Sorry. On last 2 weeks. 9 days after being spurred by the second oldest person to have lived. Her death was announced on April 25th, 2022. That is the longest time, man. And, yeah. Yeah, I'm not going to read the health and longevity, but I'm just going to read one more death topic, and that is from recently. And that will be it, and I'll do 4 more topics, and then we'll do fun facts of the week. And that will be it for now. Here we go. Anyway, Naomi Judd, okay, born Dinah Ellen Judd, okay. She was an American country music singer and actress. In 2021, she was inducted to Country Music Hall of Fame and a member of the Judds, along with side her daughter Wamna, okay. She was born in to Polly, and Charles Judd, okay, on January 11, 1946, in Ashland, Kentucky. Her father owned a gas station. In 1965, her brother Brian died of leukemia at the age of 17. Her first child, Christina Columbia, later Wanda Judd, okay, was born with Judd, was 18. After the birth of her daughter Ashley in April 1968, Blair became a film and stage actress. In the end of her marriage with Michael Comincia, Judd brought up both daughters as a single parent. First attended nursing school at the California College of Martins when living in nearby Louisiana, California, and later began a successful singing career with daughter Ronya. Wow. The Judds began when her daughters, Ronya Judd, she formed a company, the highly successful singing duo, known as the Judds. As country singer music, best known as famous mother-daughter team, the Judds scored 20 top 10 hits, including 15 as number 1, and went undefeated for 8 consecutive years at the 3 major country music awards shows. Wow. In addition, the duo won 5 Grammy Awards and vast array of other awards and honors. As a songwriter, Judd also won a Grammy for country song for the years and wins with the Judd's hit "Love Can Build a Bridge." Okay, that makes more sense. Anyway, 1991, and the Judds life afterwards. Anyway, in 91, after selling more than 20 million albums and videos in 7 years, and the pinnacle of their career, the Judds came apart, and with Noya Judd was diagnosed with MXC. Wow. The band ended on a high note. Their farewell tour was a closing act, and the farewell concert was the most successful music event in the cable pay-per-view history. In 91, Judd created the Nobby Blood Education Research Fund to raise awareness of MXC, and he used the strength for experience as spokesmall for the spokesmall, something like that, for the Education Liver Foundation. In 93, she received a Golden Plate Award for the American Academy of Achievement. She continued to act, occasionally won the first acting jobs in the small world of American Graffiti in 1979. Then in 1999, she stars Willie Wade alongside Eddie Griffith and Gerald McRaney in the film Hollywood Romance. And same year, 1999, Judds reunited for the New Year's Eve concert in Phoenix for Arizona America West Arena with Asher the MC. In 2000, the Judds reunited again for the Power of Change tour, performing to over 300,000 people for the very dates, okay? The duo is nominated for the American Country Music Top Vocal Duos of the Year Award in 2001. From 2003 to 2004, Judd also served as one of the judges of the rebranded version of Star Search hosted by Arsenio Hall, okay? In 2005, Judd began Nami's New Morn, okay? Talk show on Sunday mornings on the Hallmark Channel, okay? The show lasted 2 seasons. Wow. Okay? She's the author of several self-help books, including Nami's Guide to Aging Gravity, Facts, Myths, Good News for Boomers in 2007, and so forth. In 2008, Judd joined the new television reality combination series Can You Duet as a judge and mentor. Okay, the show is by producers American Idol on the air and on country music television. Okay. In 2011, that is, excuse me, misspoke. Anyway, Judd starred alongside actress Lauren Pompton in the Lifetime television movie The Killing Game. In 2014, she starred as Honey in the evening, Evergreen Christmas. Excuse me, misspoke. Anyway, Judd completed with her husband in the first season of the Fox broadcasting reality cooking series My Kitchen Rules. Personal life and death. His second marriage was on May 6, 1989 to Larry Strickland of the Palmetto State Quartet. After the last tour, Judd developed depression, anxiety, panic attacks, anxiety, baldness, trauma, or something like that, and suicidal thoughts. She died in Nashville, Tennessee area today. She was 36 years old. Her daughters tweeted in the park, "Today was three sisters experienced a tragedy. We lost our beautiful mother in the disease of mental illness." Now, without further ado, let's do the moment of silence reflection in regards to these 11 people right now. Thank you. Rest in peace to these 11 people I mentioned during the show. And let's move on to my next topic to read for you guys out there. And that is, of course, James Gordon is saying goodbye to The Late Late Show, okay? The late night talk show host confirmed that he'll be departing the show next year, or something like that. James Gordon is ready to say goodbye to The Late Late Show, okay? The British late night host is confirming that he will be exiting the CBS show in the end of his decision in spring in 2023. Anyway, it's been a very hard decision to leave because I'm so immediately proud of the show. I'm thrilled to be extending for a year. Corman told Deadline on Thursday, which is early this week, that is. I always thought I'll be doing for 5 years and then leave that I've stayed on, but I've really been thinking that it'll be all the time. Anyway, thinking whatever it might be, one more adventure. Anyway, I was announced in 2014 that Corey was replacing Craig Ferguson. Anyway, it's hosted the Late Show. Anyway, the eventually take over in 2015 toward the past 7 years. Anyway, Corey was having created visual and memorable segments such as Carpool Karaoke, Spill Your Guts, and Crosswalk Musical, and Drop the Mic. Anyway, when went on to become a pre-season convention show, which is good enough, and Corey told the publication that his bosses had been clearly supporting oxygen patient, okay? While he's been made his position, he has also expressed that he doesn't know if he and his family will be returning to UK after his hosting gigs ended. It's sometimes something that we think about, we talk about a lot, but we haven't been made a decision about that yet. And so I've said side of things that we will figure out. Corn shared. I love living here. I love everything it's given. My family and I have never taken this incredible adventure for granted. Every day I've drove down the Sunset to work, and I think that I'm from High Wycombe, something like that. The comedian who was also starred movies in like Into the Woods, which is a great movie by the way, Cinderella from 2015, The Prom in 2011, and Ocean's 8. Knowing that there are some other things that he will be accomplished. I'll try to end right. Okay? There are some stories I like to tell, and he will see come in here a bit. Okay, smoke. Anyway, the fact that that was terrifying. The reason that he do it, he added, before leaving it, sharing that we'll be missing out most about hosting the Late Late Show. Wow, okay. I'll miss the very measure of thinking next week of going to jump out in the plane with Tom Cruise in 2 weeks' time. We're gonna miss driving around the White House in the car with Michelle Obama or saying probably lane with Carter McCarthy driving down Pay Lane, which I'll talk about in the last topic. Anyway, he reflected all of the greatest ambitions was what the show could be. It's absolutely surprised at all of them, but my ambitions is try to go out in initially the same way we came in, which is going out with the bag. As news broke, the Late Late Show's executive producer Ben Wilson tweeted this on Twitter: "The end of the era, okay? But not just yet. Delighted we signed for another year. Those will be our last. But the greatest job of our lives is coming to an end. There's been no greater joy, okay? But it's going to work each day with my best mate and the most talented guy in the world." Anyway. Initially, in a statement from NBC News, CBS President CEO George Cheeks praised the Commission Network showman for all the success he had. Okay, 7 years ago, James Gordon came to the U.S. and took television by storm. Wow. Okay, with huge creative and comedic swings that resonated in a big way with viewers on air and online. Cheeks expressed it. Okay. From Crosswalk the musical to legendary carpool karaoke. In every unique comedy segment he introduced, James was truly reimagined many elements in the late night format. He has also been the Cosmic Network showman, entertaining audience from this now perched in television setting as well as a Tony Grammy stage. Wow, okay. In my 2 years on CBS, I've approached to see James' creative genius up close to experience his values partnership with CBS. But with the performer and producer, he continued, we wish he should stay longer. We were very proud he made CBS hit his American home, and that is a partnership that we will extend one more season in the Late Late Show, okay? In the videos posted ahead on Thursday's episode, Collins spoke about his decision to leave the show. He expressed how the show changed. He was laughing how proud he was of way they achieved. Okay, it's beyond my wildest dreams. He said, and he extended the contract for one more year before the Saturday news. Wow. Okay. The decision to sign on for one more year on the show. That is my last year of hosting the last Late Late Show. He continued, okay, when I started this journey, he will be always going to be just that. It was going to be a journey and adventure. He expressed that hosting the show will never respond to this destination. And it will want it to overstay its welcome. Okay. I always wanted to love making it, and I really think it here for now will be a good time to move on and see what else is be out there, he added. But I gotta tell you, we are not leaving today. We'll still have a year to go, and we'll be determined to make this the best year we have ever made in the show. Wow. We're going to go out of the bag. There's going to be carpools, car walks, and sketches, and other surprises, Carden said. There's going to be some tears. So there will be so many tears to continue getting emotional. Because this will be the hardest decision I have ever gonna make. Well, but it already has. I've never taken this job for granted, ever not once. And in fact, that you will watch us at home, you watch us online, wherever you are, all over the world. The fact that we guys try and entertain you and spending time with you is an absolute privilege for me and every single person who will make this show. He called it saying, here's the next 12 months, and here it's going to be the blast. I promise you that. Wow. Saddens me and it's emotional to say this. So that is my James Corden to say goodbye to the Late Late Show topic. It's coming in 2023. Last show for that year. Now let's move on to my next topic, which is going to be about Hey AJ series announced with Disney Junior and Disney Plus. Okay, and now today, last week, earlier yesterday, Disney has been first announced first ever Disney Junior Fun Fest event at Disney's California Adventure, and announced a brand new animated series called AJ will be coming to Disney Channel and Disney Plus in 2024, okay? Inspired by former Pro Bowler and Super Bowl champion and children's book author, Mazzara's Bennett's family, Hey JJ is an high-energy adventure comedy about the curious and extremely imaginative 7-year-old girl named AJ Weber, imagining a long car drive as an exciting rocket ride and turn a grocery store line into a dance party. AJ uses her big imagination to make any situation more fun and exciting, okay? Hey AJ is produced by Servant Giant Studios and associated with Disney Junior, and the executive producers are as follows: Mazzara's Bennett, the Stupid Phoenix and Ferb executive creator Jeff Swampy Marsh, which is part of Family Guy and SpongeBob, by the way. Anyway, Michael Hodge. Anyway, series based on the books created by Marcus Bennett. And Disney Brand Television president Angel Davis said this when during the Disney Junior Fun Fest event. Said this, okay? Disney Junior is already home with some of the most beloved preschool programming. And today, we have revealed that the next slate of content is sure to entertain preschool kids for years to come. As Disney Junior's current slate, okay, each of these projects is unique, expiring and common past something like that. All the brand values have been come to represent Disney Junior over the last decade. Storytelling of heart and the representatives of both kids and parents with beloved icons such as Mickey and Spidey. I never have seen Spidey at Disney Junior, but okay. It's a new stories and characters. The slate for Sword Disney Junior is the homes for preschoolers. But I'm looking forward to this, but very exciting. I never wanted to be able to branch out with Disney Junior, no. But instead, it would be bad, you know. It's not going to be bad, but that's just me. Anyway, my next topic has to do with fans are not very happy with NBC's treatment of Jeopardy's champion, Margaret Roach. Now, this is going to be sad for me, you know, and I want to talk about it now. Anyway, Amy Steinberg was just finished a run on James Show Jeopardy by winning 40 games. And now, another contestant hoping to win be her. 23-year-old Margaret Roach has been doing very well on Jeopardy in the last 2 weeks and just won her 16th show. Now, fans are not happy how NBC is treating Tab Maggie. I have to agree with fans. You know, NBC, don't do that. Jeez. The network recently shared a seamlessly kind tweet congratulating her win. She has won $320,081, which is the most won by a Canadian contestant in Jeopardy history. Anyway, there's eventually something that you can celebrate before here's where things are going to get tricky. Now, said this on Twitter. The 23-year-old lives in Toronto, okay? But Toronto, Canada, has a minus a total of $320,881, the most Canadian contestant in Jeopardy history. Now, saddens me. I don't talk about that. It just saddens me and says, "But do you remember?" I felt worried for fans. It's just knocking off, you know. The way NBC News worried that tweet has made fans upset. I have to agree. Yeah, the tweet reads, which I read before. Anyway. Tweet also linked the article titled Martha Reach becomes latest LGBT LGBTQ Jerry Farnham. Wow. So you have to respect that. Jeez. I respect LGBTQ people, and I don't want you to do such a thing like that. Jeez. Anyway, for fans questioning why they didn't use her name in the tweet and why they referred her, I'm not gonna say that sport. Anyway, organization. Anyway, one person responded, is there some severity of her being a lesbian? Is there some type of unique offsets to be overcome in order to be lesbian to see the Jeopardy? I can't imagine to be ever a question of performing. You feel it out as to be a contestant. I have to agree with you, 1%. I always want to be one right similarly if you want to be a straight man. I have to agree. I'm a straight man. You know, some joke they have to never been seen a tweet about straight male Ken Jennings. You know, that's me. You know, because about the guest host in the game show. What do you think about this tweet? It's stupid. You know, I hate to say this, guys, but you don't need to be harsh. This Canadian lesbian. You know, that's just me. She's good at Jeopardy. You know, that's just me. Anyways, my last topic has to do with Paul McCartney performs a special duet with John Lennon at Got Back Tour Kickoff. This happened earlier today. Anyway, earlier this week. Anyway, the Beatles legend Paul McCartney performed his first concert in 3 years in Sponge, Washington. Okay, Washington. Anyway, on April 28th. Okay, they were the 26th song set that ever even included a virtual duet. So as long as to finish the Seeds bandmate John Lennon. Okay, the set list which was seen toward the bottom of this page featured 21 Beatles cuts, 6 tracks by Wings, a cover by of Quarrymen and the rest of the B, a mix of 2 solo songs. Okay, that brought things all the way for current with the live debut of Woman and Wives of the Musicians 2020 solo record, McCartney Free. Okay? The standout moments were the absolute, but one of the most extraordinary portions of the set came when McCartney returned to stage to kick off 6 songs encore that became with I Got a Feeling. The track appears in the Beatles' final album, 1970s Let It Be. Okay? And it's got Get Back documentary, which records the writing of recording sessions of the album. Is one of just a handful of tracks that was part of the rooftop performance that mainly marked one of the last ever performance by the Beatles. Wow, okay. First, the rooftop event that provided between McCartney and his band on stage, part way from through the encore performance of Lennon's vocals was also added to the live mix, of which McCartney sang in the exclusive to that was late while songwriting partner. Wow, okay. With very short footage directly below, McCartney's U.S. tour will continue throughout June 16th, which is still coming up. Anyway, and you will see it when stops here. Here we go. Here are some things from earlier this week. Anyway, the Beatles Can't Buy Me Love, Wings Junior Faith, okay, Junior Farm, excuse me, Wings Letting Go, Beatles Got to Get You in My Life, Onto Me, Wings followed by Foxy Jam on Let Me Roll It, the Beatles on Getting Better, Women's Lives, My Valentine, Nothing, Not Time, Nothing, 1989 by the Wings, Maybe I'm Ashamed, I'm Just Seeing a Face by the Beatles, In Spite of All the Danger by the Quarrymen, What We Do by the Beatles, Dancing Tonight by, I'm not sure what it is, anyway, Paul McCartney, anyway, Blackbird by the Beatles, Here Today, Queenie, Lady Madonna by the Beatles. I'm not gonna say the F word. Sorry. It's number 20. Anyway, being from the benefit of Mr. Kite by the Beatles. Something by the Beatles tribute to George Harrison. Anyway, oh la dee wobby la da. Anyway, by the Beatles. Anyway, You Never Give Me Your Money by the Beatles. You came in through the bathroom window by the Beatles. Get Back by the Beatles. Band on the Run by the Wings. Anyway, Let It Be by the Beatles. Live and Let Die by the Wings. And finally, Hey Jude by the Beatles. And here's some encore songs as follows. I Got a Feeling by the Beatles, tribute to John Lennon. Anyway, Birthday by the Beatles. And There's a Lot by the Beatles, and 33 to 36. Hello Skeller by the Beatles. Going Slumbers by the Beatles. And Carry That Way by the Beatles. And VN by the Beatles. So that is all I can have to say about these topics. And I got 3 fun facts of the week topics, and I'm wrapping this show up, okay? We got, today marks the 110th anniversary of Universal Pictures. I'm not going to read all of that history regarding to Universal Pictures right now, because it's getting late right now in my area, but we're going to read you Universal Pictures on the top, okay? It all started in 1912, okay? Legally known as Universal Pictures, legally known as Universal Studios LLC, also known as Universal Studios, or simply Universal Common Metro Uni, okay? Formerly known name, Universal Film Mastery Company, and Universal International Pictures Incorporated. It's an American film production distributing company owned by Comcast, through the NBC Universal Film and Entertainment Division of NBC Universal. Anyway, founded, like I said before, 1912. This is 110 years ago today by a lot of people. Carl Robinson, okay, Mark, pronounce his last name. Anyway, Charles O. Barman, Adam Kessel, Pat Powers, William Salson, okay, David Harsey, okay, Robert H. I can't pronounce his last name. Anyway, and Jules Borner. Universal is the oldest surviving film studio in the United States. The fifth was the fifth oldest after Garment, Paffy, Jarmuth, Carmen, and Carmen Film. Anyway, and you always remember the Hollywood's Big Five studios in terms of the overall film market. Its studios are located in Universal City, California, and its corporate office is located in New York City. In 1982, the studios was acquired by MCA Universal, which I loved as a kid. MCA Universal Home Video, because I loved as a kid growing up, which is relaunched as NBC Universal in 2004. Anyway, bring back MCA. You gotta love it. Universal is a member of Motion Picture Association, formerly known as Motion Picture Association of America, now known as MPAA, was now known as Motion Picture Association. But anyway, MPA for short. But anyway, it was one of the three major during Hollywood's golden age. Now, and then we got 2 more. One of them has to do with birthday, and the rest of them has to do with birthdays. Now, birthdays are very special, okay? My friend Len Regala's birthday is today. So, Len Regala, if you watch this right now, aka Kitchen Time LV, happy birthday to you, buddy. You deserve it. Anyway, and then one more I gotta discuss is my friend from Great Britain. His birthday is earlier this week, is Rob Young. So, Rob, if you're watching this, happy birthday to you. You have this great birthday, my friend. You deserve it. And that was the Crazy Bunch's web show, episode number 61. Hope you enjoy it. Stay tuned for the next one. It's going to be episode number 62. Not sure what it's going to be about Mother's Day. And, oh boy, I'm getting exhausted after all my done for the read all night. You know, that's just me. Till next time, through Jarvis, goodbye, peace out, baby. We get more Crazy Bunch's web shows, guys, very soon. Till then, out. See ya.